We must defend the truth at all costs, even if we return to being only 12. Saint John Paul II. Did you know that holiness can be found in the smallest actions of daily life? Discover how Saint Thérèse of the Child Jesus revolutionized Catholic spirituality with her little way. Born in Alsace, France, Thérèse lived only 24 years, but her spiritual impact echoes to this day. In today's video, we will explore the life of this young Carmelite who, through her simplicity and humility, found holiness in small daily actions, becoming a model of devotion and love for God. We will delve into Thérése's childhood, influenced by the holiness of her parents, Louis and Zélie Martin, and follow her determined journey to enter the Carmel at 15. We will see how, within the convent, she developed the little way a spirituality based on absolute trust in God and performing small actions with great love. Get ready to know the story of a soul who, even in the face of suffering, found in faith the strength to inspire millions around the world. Thérèse of the Child Jesus was born on January 2, 1873, in Alsace, France. From an early age, her life was marked by an environment of profound faith and devotion. Her parents, Louis and Zélie Martin, were living examples of holiness in daily life. Both dedicated their lives to family and Catholic faith, creating a home where love and piety were palpable. Thérése's childhood was a time of joy and spiritual formation. She was the youngest of 9 children, of whom only 5 survived childhood. The Martin family faced many difficulties, including the death of 4 children, but they always found solace in faith. Thérèse, deeply influenced by her parents' example, developed an ardent love for Jesus and the Virgin Mary from an early age. The Martins' home was a place where prayer and acts of charity were essential parts of the daily routine. Louis and Zélie not only taught their children to pray, but also to live the gospel teachings through acts of love and service to others. This environment shaped Thérèse, preparing her for the religious vocation she would embrace so fervently later in life. From a very young age, Thérèse showed a profound religious vocation. At 14, after a transformative spiritual experience during Christmas Mass, she decided she wanted to dedicate her life entirely to God. Determined and with unwavering faith, Thérèse faced many challenges to follow her calling. She wished to enter the Carmel of Lisieux, but her youth was an obstacle. At 15, with surprising courage for her age, Thérèse went with her father to Rome to ask Pope Leo XIII directly for permission to enter the convent, something almost unthinkable at the time. Despite the boldness of her request, the Pope only encouraged her to follow the guidance of local superiors. This episode did not diminish her determination. She continued to seek permission and, finally, with her family's support, especially her father's, who understood the depth of her vocation, Thérèse was accepted into the Carmel of Lisieux. Thérése's entry into the Carmel at 15 marked the beginning of a life of simplicity, prayer, and sacrifice. Within the convent walls, she dedicated herself to living her faith deeply and authentically, facing difficulties with serenity and trust in God. Thérése's willpower and unwavering faith serve as a powerful testimony of her devotion and divine love, inspiring many to follow her example of seeking holiness in the simplicity of daily life. Inside the walls of the Carmel of Lisieux, Saint Thérèse of the Child Jesus found the perfect stage to live her vocation with total devotion. Life in the Carmel was marked by a routine of prayer, work, and silence. Thérèse embraced this simple life with extraordinary joy and fervor. Thérése's daily tasks in the Carmel included the most humble services, such as cleaning and tending the garden, as well as deep contemplative prayer practice. Each action, no matter how small, was performed with great love and devotion. Thérèse believed that by doing small things with extraordinary love, she could achieve holiness. This concept would form the basis of her spirituality, known as the Little Way. The simplicity and humility of Thérése's life in the Carmel were the foundations of her spiritual journey. She dedicated herself to living the gospel in every small act, always seeking to be closer to God. The austere routine of the convent was not seen as a sacrifice, but as an opportunity to offer her love to God continuously. Thus, Thérèse transformed the most common actions into acts of great spiritual value, showing that holiness is accessible to all, regardless of circumstances. At the heart of Saint Thérèse of the Child Jesus' spiritual life was the little way, a revolutionary approach that transformed how many Catholics understand holiness. But what exactly is the little way? It is a spirituality based on absolute trust in God and performing small daily actions with great love. For Thérèse, holiness was not reserved only for those who performed great deeds, but was within reach of everyone through simplicity and humility. Thérèse believed that anyone could achieve holiness by living with love and dedication in the small things of daily life. Instead of seeking great sacrifices or extraordinary feats, she focused on doing each small action with a heart full of love for God. She wrote, "What pleases God in my little soul is that I love my littleness and my poverty." For Thérèse, each small act, when done with great love, had immense value in God's eyes. A practical example of her little way can be seen in how she dealt with the difficulties and irritations of life in the convent. Instead of complaining, Thérèse offered these moments to God, turning them into opportunities for spiritual growth. Her approach taught that holiness could be found in the most common tasks, such as sweeping the floor or tending the garden, as long as they were done with love and dedication to God. This simple but profound spirituality continues to inspire millions of people worldwide to seek holiness in their daily lives. The life of Saint Thérèse of the Child Jesus was marked by profound intimacy with God, which she expressed through her writings. Among her greatest spiritual treasures are her diaries and letters, revealing a soul burning with love and devotion. Thérèse began writing at a young age, and her words became a powerful testimony of her faith and spirituality. Her diaries reflect her inner journey, where she recorded her experiences, feelings, and spiritual reflections. Each page offers a glimpse into her soul, showing her struggle to achieve holiness through the little way. She wrote about her small victories and daily challenges, always with sincerity and humility that deeply touched the reader. In addition to her diaries, Thérèse also wrote numerous letters, many of them addressed to her blood and convent sisters. In these letters, she shared spiritual advice, encouragement, and her own experiences of faith. Her poems, filled with passion and divine love, are also an essential part of her writings. They capture the beauty of her devotion and her burning desire to be ever closer to God. These writings are not only historical documents, but true spiritual guides that continue to inspire and guide the faithful. Through her words, Thérèse invites us to follow her little way, finding God in the small things and living each moment with love and total surrender. Among the writings of Saint Thérèse of the Child Jesus, one stands out in particular, Story of a Soul. This book, an autobiography written by Thérèse at the request of her superiors in the convent, is a masterpiece of Catholic spirituality. In its pages, Thérèse narrates her life with a simplicity and sincerity that deeply touch the heart of the reader. Story of a Soul begins with Thérese's childhood memories, her decision to enter the Carmel, and her spiritual journey within the convent. She shares her joys, sufferings, and, above all, her profound love for Jesus. Through her words, we are invited to accompany her spiritual journey, marked by absolute trust in God and the desire to do everything with love, no matter how small the act may seem. One of the most inspiring passages in the book is when Thérèse describes her little way, a spirituality based on humility and unconditional love. She writes, "I want to find a way to go to heaven by a straight, short path, a completely new way. We are in an age of inventions. Now, there is no need to climb the steps of a ladder. In the elevator of Jesus' arms, I will be lifted to heaven." This simple and powerful metaphor summarizes the essence of her spirituality. Story of a Soul is not just a life story, but an invitation to spiritual transformation. Thérèse shows us that holiness is within everyone's reach by living love and trust in God in the small things of daily life. Her legacy, preserved in this book, continues to illuminate and inspire millions of people worldwide, showing that even in simplicity, we can find the greatness of holiness. In the last years of Saint Thérèse of the Child Jesus' life, the young Carmelite faced a significant challenge: tuberculosis. This debilitating disease began to manifest its first symptoms when Thérèse was about 23 years old. Physical suffering became a constant in her life, testing her faith and resilience in unimaginable ways. Tuberculosis, at that time, was practically incurable and caused great pain and discomfort. However, Thérèse faced this trial with impressive serenity. She saw her suffering as an opportunity to unite more deeply with Jesus, especially in his passion and death. Instead of despairing, Thérèse accepted her pain as part of her spiritual path, offering each moment of suffering as an act of love to God. During these years of illness, Thérése's faith shone even more intensely. She never let physical pain obscure her trust in God. On the contrary, her fragile health revealed even more the depth of her spirituality. Thérèse used to say that she wanted to spend her heaven doing good on earth, and even in the midst of suffering, she maintained a spirit of joy and total surrender. The last months of her life were marked by a rapid decline, but also by an inner peace that impressed everyone around her. Her convent sisters witnessed her patience and the strength of her faith, inspiring them to live with the same trust in God. Thérèse died on September 30, 1897, leaving a legacy of love and devotion that continues to inspire people worldwide. Even in her final moments, she remained faithful to her little ways, showing that true holiness can be found in the serene acceptance of suffering and total trust in God. In her last years, marked by tuberculosis, Saint Thérèse of the Child Jesus delved even deeper into her spirituality, offering powerful reflections on suffering and union with Christ. For Thérèse, suffering was not an obstacle but a bridge to more intimate communion with God. She saw every moment of pain as an opportunity to participate in Jesus' sufferings, turning her anguish into an act of redemptive love. Thérèse wrote many reflections during this period, revealing wisdom and spiritual maturity impressive for her age. In her letters and diaries, she expressed how she accepted her suffering with serenity, seeing it as a means of purification and a path to be closer to God. She said, "To suffer passes, but having suffered never passes." For her, earthly suffering was temporary, but the spiritual value it brought was eternal. One of Thérèse's most profound reflections on suffering was her understanding that by accepting pain with love and patience, she could help save souls. She wished to be a Holocaust victim for the love of Jesus, offering herself entirely for the salvation of others. This spirit of sacrifice and unconditional love permeated all her actions and thoughts, turning her illness into a source of grace for her and those around her. Even in the most challenging moments, Thérèse maintained a spirit of joy and hope. Her unwavering faith and absolute trust in God gave her the strength to face the illness with courage. She saw each trial as a way to be more deeply united with Christ, reflecting his passion and suffering. Through her spiritual reflections, Saint Thérèse teaches us that by accepting our sufferings with faith and love, we can find a path to holiness and more intimate union with God. After Saint Thérèse of the Child Jesus died in 1897, the fame of her holiness spread rapidly. Her simple life, her little way of love, and her writings inspired many faithful worldwide. This movement of devotion was so powerful that the canonization process began quickly, an official recognition by the Catholic Church of her holiness and heroic virtues. Thérèse's canonization process was extraordinarily fast for its time. It usually took decades or even centuries for a saint to be officially recognized by the Church, but for Thérèse, this process was exceptionally accelerated. In 1923, only 26 years after her death, Pope Pius XI beatified her, publicly recognizing her virtues and allowing her to be venerated locally. Thérèse's beatification was only the beginning. 2 years later, in 1925, the same Pope Pius XI canonized her, proclaiming her a saint and authorizing her universal veneration. During the canonization ceremony, the Pope highlighted Thérèse's spiritual depth and simplicity, presenting her as a model for all the faithful. He praised her little way as a sure and accessible path to holiness, reaffirming the value of small actions done with great love. The speed of Thérèse's canonization reflected not only the depth of her spirituality, but also the profound impact she had on the lives of millions of people. Her example of love, trust in God, and humility continues to inspire many to seek holiness in the small things of daily life. The story of her canonization is a testimony to the transformative power of a life lived in total surrender to God. The influence of Saint Thérèse of the Child Jesus in the Catholic Church and the lives of the faithful worldwide is immense and enduring. After her canonization, her message of simplicity and love spread globally, touching hearts and transforming lives. Thérèse's little way, which teaches seeking holiness through small actions done with great love, resonated deeply with people of all ages and walks of life. Devotion to Saint Thérèse knows no borders. Churches, schools, hospitals, and charitable organizations have been named in her honor. Her gracious image, usually depicted holding roses, has become a symbol of hope and divine love. Many faithful report feeling Thérèse's presence and intercession in their lives, especially through small miracles and special graces. She promised to spend her heaven doing good on earth and spreading a shower of roses, a sign of her answered prayers. The testimonies of miracles attributed to Saint Thérèse's intercession are numerous. From inexplicable physical healings to solutions to personal and spiritual problems, her presence continues to be felt concretely and powerfully. People from all over the world share stories of how Thérèse intervened in moments of need, bringing comfort, healing, and guidance. Thérèse's legacy is also evident in her theological influence. Her writings, especially Story of a Soul, continue to be studied and appreciated by theologians, clergy, and lay people. Her innovative and accessible approach to spirituality offers a practical path to holiness, emphasizing the importance of humility, trust in God, and love in small things. Saint Thérèse of the Child Jesus is not just a saint of the past. She is a spiritual companion for today, a guide who shows us that through love and simplicity, we can all achieve holiness. Her global impact is a testament to the transformative power of her message and the depth of her faith. Although she never left the convent, Saint Thérèse of the Child Jesus is acclaimed as the patroness of missions. This may seem surprising at first glance. How could a young Carmelite, cloistered in a convent, have such a profound influence on Catholic missions worldwide? The answer lies in the depth of her spirituality and the power of her prayers. Thérèse always had a burning heart for missions and missionaries. From a young age, she felt a special call to pray and sacrifice for those spreading the gospel to distant lands. She intensely desired to participate in missionary work, but recognized that her path was different. Instead of physically going on missions, Thérèse offered her prayers and sacrifices as spiritual support for those on the front lines. In her letters, especially those addressed to missionaries, Thérèse expressed her love and support. She saw her role as a heart missionary, firmly believing that her prayers had a real and tangible impact on the work of those spreading the faith. Her missionary spirit was fueled by a deep desire for everyone to know and love Jesus as much as she did. It was this unconditional love and tireless dedication to missions that led Pope Pius XI to name Saint Thérèse as the patroness of missions in 1927, just 2 years after her canonization. He recognized that through her prayers and sacrifices, Thérèse had significantly contributed to the success of missions worldwide. Her life is a testimony that even without leaving a convent, one can have a global impact through prayer and love. Thus, Saint Thérèse of the Child Jesus teaches us that the true missionary spirit is not only in great actions or trips to distant lands, but also in small acts of love and fervent prayers offered with a sincere heart. She shows us that we can all be missionaries wherever we are by living and sharing God's love in our own lives.
Embark on a spiritual journey with our new ebook, 50 Saints, Stories and Prayers for Divine Intervention. This inspiring collection delves into the lives of 50 revered saints, offering their powerful stories and heartfelt prayers to guide you towards divine intervention. Perfect for personal reflection or group study, this ebook is a must-have for every devout Catholic. Enhance your faith and discover the strength of these saintly figures. Find the download link in the pinned comment below.
Thérèse's dedication to missions was so intense that she desired to be a missionary in distant lands, but understood that God had a different plan for her. Instead of preaching the gospel in far-off countries, Thérèse decided to dedicate her life of prayer and sacrifice to the missionaries on the spiritual battlefield. Thérèse firmly believed in the power of prayer. She offered every small action of her day, every sacrifice, for those spreading Christ's message worldwide. She had a deep love and admiration for missionaries, and through her letters, especially to missionary Father Adolphe Rowland, she showed her unconditional support. She saw her prayers and sacrifices as a way to be spiritually present alongside the missionaries, strengthening and interceding for them. In her prayers, Thérèse asked God for the souls of non-Christians, missionaries, and all those who needed to know Jesus' love. She prayed that God's love would touch everyone's hearts and that the gospel's light could shine through the missionaries worldwide. Her devotion to missions was fueled by a burning desire for everyone to experience Christ's transforming love. Thérèse's missionary spirit manifested in her words of encouragement and determination to offer every suffering and joy for the salvation of souls. She believed that through the little way, doing small things with great love, she could significantly impact missions. This spirit of total surrender and unconditional love made Thérèse a true missionary of the heart. Saint Thérèse teaches us that we don't need to be physically present in missions to contribute to evangelization. Through our prayers, sacrifices, and daily actions, we can support and strengthen those in the missionary field. She shows us that the missionary spirit is a universal call that can be lived profoundly and significantly wherever we are. May we follow Saint Thérése's example, living with humility, love, and faith, trusting that by doing small things with great love, we can achieve true holiness. Share your experiences and devotion to Saint Thérèse in the comments below, and may her intercession continue to guide and inspire us on our spiritual journey. Just as Saint Thérèse of the Child Jesus found holiness in the simplicity of daily life, another young saint, Maria Goretti, exemplified profound faith and forgiveness in her short life. Both saints, through their extraordinary love for God and their unwavering trust in His plan, continue to inspire millions today. To delve deeper into the incredible story of Saint Maria Goretti and her powerful message of forgiveness, be sure to watch our next video appearing on your screen. Your journey of faith and inspiration continues there. God bless.